Welcome back to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. If you are a Panthers fan, you're not having a great day. And if you are a 49ers fan, you're not having a great day. You're not having a great night. You're not having a great nothing. These two games were downright horrible, but the first game was horrible for different reasons than the second game, Panthers, Buccaneers, Seattle Seahawks, and 49ers. If my mood seems a little bit down, it's because I don't care about my game picks being wrong. I don't care at all. I don't care. You're wrong, you're wrong. You're not right all the time. Trust me, I've been more right about my game picks this year than probably anybody that's been picking games all year. But overall thoughts on both of these games was it was just sickening. It was horrible. The first game, officiating was horrible. The second game, Brock Purdy's offensive line was horrible. Christian McCaffrey was playing well until he was trying to catch the ball. He tipped the ball and it gets picked off. I told Brock Purdy no interceptions in this game if they're going to win. Only scoring 3 points. Again, he didn't have a bad game. That interception really kind of sealed their fate. But we're going to get into it. But before we get into it, please hit the like button and subscribe button to the channel for more great content that will be heading your way. First, we're going to start off with the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game, I watched this game from the beginning until the end, just like the next game that we'll get into. And my overall thoughts was the NFL, and I've never said this on here before, but I'm going to allude to it now. The NFL wanted Carolina to lose. There is no way. There's just no way. I don't care about my pick. Forget about the picks. The NFL did not want Carolina to win this game, and I'm going to tell you why. They didn't want Carolina to win this game because they want tomorrow's Saints and Falcons game to have somewhat of an importance. I told you guys, every time I pick the Falcons, to win, they wind up losing. I picked the Falcons to lose, they end up winning. I picked them to lose tomorrow. I picked the Saints. If you look at the previous video that I posted before this, is the predictions for all the games combined in one, Saturday and Sunday. Bryce Young did all he could. It was a rainy game. It was wet. Tampa Bay in this game was up 13-7 at the end of the game. Then towards the end, Carolina came back and scored 7 points in the fourth quarter, where Tampa Bay only scoring 3. This was so bad. This was just so bad. The officiating in this game was so bad. If you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you can't blame Bryce Young for this. This game was horrible weather, and Bryce Young came out there and threw 24 of 35 for 266 yards, 7.6 attempts per throw, 76 yards per throw, rather. 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. His rushing game did nothing. Chuba Hubbard, 5 attempts for 10 yards. Rico Dowdle, 7 attempts for 10 yards. Bryce Young had 2 carries for negative 1 yard. No touchdowns from this team. Tommy Tremble and Jalen Cocker had a touchdown apiece. I thought Bryce Young made some impressive throws. That interception was the only bad throw that he made in the entire first half. I said Bryce Young deserves more of a chance. Don't give up on him, which I want to give up on him, but Carolina, man, if you're a fan of the Carolina Panthers, I'm not. I told you guys I'm unbiased on here. This was bad. The officiating was horrible. Every single time the Carolina Panthers marched up that field, they literally called everything back. If you watch this game in full, you know what I'm talking about. If you see the highlights, you should just feel that something was wrong with this game. This was the most embarrassingly officiated game, to the point where Dan Orlovsky is calling the game with Louis Riddick. And they're calling this game, and he's up there complaining and having a fit about how bad the officiating is. Do you know how bad you have to be to where an announcer who's supposed to be neutral and side with referees and not beat on them too much with their commentary is criticizing you left and right, to the point where I thought he was going to get in trouble? I thought Dan Orlovsky was going to get in trouble for covering this team the way he was covering these teams today. This was abysmal. If anybody tells you Bryce Young did not play well, they did not watch this game. He had one bad play, okay, fine. He had a 35-yard pass that went to McMillan. I don't want to say his first name, I apologize. Number 4, wide receiver who I really like. 4 catches for 85 yards on 6 targets. Even with the bad weather, Bryce Young, to me, just in my opinion, was outplaying Baker Mayfield. Let the record show that. Bryce Young was outplaying Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker Mayfield, his carries, the 4 attempts that he had in the scrambling that he did, which was very, very impressive. Carolina needs to rebuild its offensive line stat. This was a horrible game. Carolina's defense did show up, though. I will give them their credit. They showed up. Every time they made a play, flag here, flag there, pass interference on a wide receiver. They were both fighting with each other. So many plays being called back. Baker Mayfield threw a bad interception just right to the defender. Same thing with Bryce Young. Baker Mayfield in this game was 16 of 22, 203 yards, 9.2 average per attempt, a touchdown and interception. He was sacked twice. Bryce Young wasn't even sacked in this game. That's how you know he was playing well, when he wasn't even sacked. I'm looking at the box score. He wasn't sacked at all. His QBR is 45. I don't care about QBR. QBR is a lame stat. Bucky Irvin had 26 carries for 85 yards. Cade Cotton, 7 receptions for 94 yards and a touchdown. Everybody else was decent to mediocre in this football game. Baker Mayfield he had just picked a little wide receivers. Cade Cotton had tight end Mike Evans, Tez Johnson, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin, and Mike Ibuka. How many receivers does Baker Mayfield have on his team? He fumbled, but he wound up recovering it. Carolina fumbled 3 times in this game. They lost 2 of them. Who the hell runs a pitch play in the rain? They're getting ready to run the ball. Rico Dahl throws the ball back to pitch it back to Bryce Young, and they fumble. It reminded me of Cam Newton in the Super Bowl. No disrespect. This game was awful. And by my mood, it should tell you how bad this game was in officiating. I understand that Baker Mayfield, when we look at the box score, and we look at the stats, and we see that he completed 72.7% of his passes, but it was the way that Bryce Young was playing. This entire division is 8-9. Both teams are 8-9. This is horrible. I don't want to see any of these teams in the playoffs next week. I don't want to see none. I don't care who wins between the Saints and the Falcons. I don't care who wins at all. I don't want to see not one of these teams in the playoffs. That's how bad it was. Even if the Falcons win, the Carolina Panthers are in the playoffs. That should just tell you how bad this division is. That we are going to have to wait to see Atlanta and New Orleans play a football game tomorrow. This is why I said the NFL has something to do with it. Because ain't no way. Now, why would you say, why would the NFL have something to do with it when you have 2 bad teams playing football? Exactly my point to get ratings. Every time Carolina made a play, it was called back. And Bryce Young completed 68% of his passes. I thought he played well, but again, besides the interception, he played well. This was a horrible officiated game. Baker Mayfield came through him in the second half, which I'll give him his credit for. I'll give Tampa Bay the credit for winning this game. Both teams are 8-9. This division is so disgusting that if Roger Goodell came out right now and said, we're going to rip up our agreement, that none of these teams can make it to the playoffs, I would be for it. And the only reason why I would be for it is because of how horrible the officiating was. Somebody put a call into New York. This was terrible. I had to sit here and watch this game, a rainy game, and the NFL was purposely holding the Carolina Panthers back. I said it. I'm not hiding from it. Get mad at me. Call me tinfoil hat. This was horrible. Carolina got robbed throughout this entire game with penalty after penalty after penalty. A disgusting game if you ask me. If you ask me which game was the better game, in the end, I would say the 49ers and the Seahawks, even though that game was kind of boring too. I've spent almost 10 minutes talking about how bad this game was in the officiating. Because there's nothing really else to talk about. This game was so poorly officiated that overshadowed this entire day. This entire day is overshadowed by NFL referees putting their own ego over a game. This was bad. If you're a Panthers fan, you would sue the NFL, even though you can't. That's how bad this game. If you didn't watch the game, if you can get the condensed version, if you can get the highlights, go look at it yourself. Go look online in the discourse about all the calls. Tweet at Dan Orlowski if you please. This game was so bad. I don't care who wins between the Falcons and the Saints. Whoever comes out of this division, I don't want to see them in the playoffs. And not only do I not want to see them in the playoffs, I hope they get slaughtered. I hope Tampa Bay, if the Saints win and Tampa Bay goes to the playoffs, I hope they get slaughtered. I don't care. I'm unbiased, but it comes to a point where you let a banged up Baker Mayfield go up and down the field on this team at certain points of the game. Not the entire game, because Carolina Panthers defense did their thing. But this was horrible. I can't believe it. I felt bad for Bryce Young. I really did. I felt bad for all the Carolina Panthers fans, because I said in my predictions that the Carolina Panthers needed to win this game for the city and the morale, and Bryce Young really needed this for his career. And the NFL came in and said no, and took their boot and stepped on him like he was a bug. I don't even want to talk about it no more. If you watch this game, you know exactly what I mean. The NFL strikes again. This is like, it's not worse than Brady and the Chuck rule, but this is worse than, I can't even say that. This is just as bad as Seattle and the Super Bowl with the Steelers. That's how bad this game was with officiating. A horrible outlook. Anyway, we have to wait till tomorrow to see 2 bum teams play, the Saints and the Falcons, and we have to watch them play, because if whoever wins, whether if the Falcons win, Panthers go to the playoffs, if the Saints win, Buccaneers go to the playoffs, this was an extremely ill-advised game. if you were working and you didn't get to see this game, I'm saving you much needed time. After this review, you can go to sleep. You don't even need to, I'm at a loss for words covering this game. It was that bad. I truly have nothing left to say about this. You put this game in prime time and had the NFL and their referees stomp all over Carolina Panthers and what they were trying to do. Every drive that they tried, it was raining, it was wet, it was a horrible game that had playoff implications, and you had your referee step all over this entire game. This was truly terrible. I'm going to move on because I'm going to get angry. Again, if you're a Carolina Panthers fan and you did not see this game, I am saving you your energy and the way I know that you will be angry. Don't break your TVs. It's not worth it. This game was truly horrible. And I blame the NFL. I don't blame Carolina. I don't even blame Tampa Bay. But I blame the NFL. This was horrible officiating to the point where I was like, I hope every single broadcast, news station, whatever, just rips the NFL apart for this. This was that bad. I'm sitting here for almost 14 minutes. And it's just horrible. I'm moving on to the Seahawks and 49ers game. I just can't believe it no more. That game was horribly officiated. Anyway, next up we had the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers. Again, 7 points by Seattle in the first quarter. In the second quarter, they had 3 points. In the fourth quarter, they had 3 points. San Francisco had 3 points second quarter, and that was it. Sam Darnold was 20 of 26, 198 yards, 7.6 per attempt. He was sacked twice. Brock Purdy was 19 of 27, 127 yards and an interception. He was sacked 3 times. Christian McCaffrey had 8 carries for 23 yards. What happened to the Avengers? Everybody keeps talking about these Avengers that he had. Where was the Avengers today? Juwan Jennings played a great game, even though he had 4 catches for 34 yards and 6 targets. The catches that he was making, I thought Brock Purdy was impressive in this game because of the throws that he was making. He just kept getting popped and hit because his offensive line was just not protecting him in certain spots. I thought the defense played amazing. The fact that they got 2 sacks on Sam Darnold and they were actually tackling out there. Now, Kenneth Walker did rush for 16 attempts for 97 yards. Zach Charbonnet, 17 attempts for 74 yards and a touchdown. He played well. They both played well, but the way that the 49ers defense was aggressive this entire time, salute to Robert Saleh. Again, I told you guys he should be assistant coach of the year. Jackson Smith-Njigba had 6 catches for 84 yards on 8 targets. A good game by him. He didn't have a touchdown. He had a great game, in my opinion. The way that he was just getting open on his 49ers secondary. But the 49ers D-line really showed up, in my opinion, in this game. And if you go back and watch highlights, you'll see a lot of the plays where the defensive line came through for San Francisco. Besides Juwan Jennings, George Kittle had 7 targets, 5 catches for 29 yards. Didn't really do nothing. He had a nice first down catch, though. I will give him credit for that. Again, do I blame Brock Purdy for this loss? No. I told you guys. Seattle's key to winning this football game was all they had to do was just score on this 49ers defense. And Seattle's defense had to stop the 49ers offense. That's exactly what they did. Brock Purdy couldn't get nothing going. He has some nice throws in this game. If you look at his completion percentage, I know I get caught up on completion percentage. He had 70.4% completion percentage. Now, average yards per throw was 4.7, so that's not good at all. But do I think he's the reason why they lost? No, the interception wasn't his fault. Again, it counts. He gets credited for it. I'm not going to just take that away from him, but he does get the credit even though it bounced off Christian McCaffrey's hands. If that pass doesn't bounce, they win this game. Again, it's not really a bad thing because both of these teams are still going to the playoffs. Seattle's 14-3 and San Francisco's 12-5, and the Rams are 11-5. So we'll see about them, the Rams in Arizona tomorrow, but as far as this game wasn't in its entirety, because you're going to have people go on TV and say, Brock Purdy he didn't throw a touchdown, he threw an interception, even though the interception wasn't his fault. And they will lack the context given to what happened in this game so that it can make themselves look better and say, see, Brock Purdy needed the Avengers the entire time when that's not true. Seattle's defense is just great. Was I impressed with Sam Darnold? Yes, on third down. He was very, very impressive in this game. 76.9% completion percentage. On third down, he was converting, making good passes, so I can't even criticize him at all. He was getting hit too, but I'm going to give him his credit. He showed up today and he showed out, and now they're the number 1 seed. Again, I have no problems with this game. It was just 13-3. You just don't want to see a score like that when you see Brock Purdy playing well and you see Seattle playing well. Third quarter, none of these teams scored points. First quarter, Seattle scored points. San Francisco didn't. Then in the third quarter, they scored 3 more points. And on top of scoring just 3 points, the field goal kicker, he missed 2 field goals. Seattle's kicker, Jason Myers. He missed 2 field goals. The one thing I didn't like was the holding calls that the 49ers were getting. They were playing some good defense in the secondary as well, but they just kept getting called for this. The entire day was just basically bad calls. But the first game I just went over, which I just couldn't even give you guys a full breakdown. That was just such a horrible game. But anyway, I'm not going to go back to that. This entire Saturday was just awful. But I give Seattle their credit again. Their defense was spectacular. You have to give Robert Saleh credit for the way they coached the 49ers defense with this team. Again, I'm not blaming Brock Purdy for this loss, because if you watch this game, you know it wasn't on him. He was being pressured the entire night. That Seattle Seahawks defense was all on him. Offensive line, I don't know what happened these past couple weeks. You've been blocking well. I know Trent Williams is out, but man, I'm looking at Brock Purdy like, damn, I know they're going to crucify you tomorrow. The criticism on Monday morning is going to be absolutely unfair, but he's going to get criticized. The same thing with Bryce Young. Bryce Young and Brock Purdy are going to get criticized on Monday, even though, to me, they don't deserve any of the criticism. Again, both of these teams are in the playoffs, so it's not like it's a bad thing. We all knew Seattle was better than San Francisco. I just picked San Francisco because I'm like, listen, Brock Purdy's been balling out. If there's a quarterback that I trust to go up against the Seattle defense, it could be Brock Purdy, because look what Bryce Young or any other quarterback could do against Seattle's defense. Well, not Bryce Young, but you guys know what I mean. What other quarterbacks can do against Seattle. What Baker Mayfield did against Seattle. So again, I didn't really have a problem with the Seahawks game. Sam Darnold had a lot of great conversions again. I don't want to repeat myself, but when you look at this entire game, it was just the defense of that game, really, in my opinion. Again, Seattle made plays. Sam Darnold didn't have a passing touchdown or interception. He fumbled the football, but running back recovered it. But all in all, Sam Darnold played a clean game, in my opinion, except for that fumble. But, man, again, like I said, I don't care if it's about my picks. It doesn't matter about the picks. It just matters about the principles of what this game happened. That first game was just awful again. The second game was just a defensive-led game. And I wanted these games to be great because I'm like, listen, it's Saturday. There's no college football on. NFL's on prime time, and they give us this. The first game was just out of this world awful. But the second game was at least decent when they were playing good defense. Some of the calls were whack for the 49ers, but again, Seattle, I give them their full credit. I'm not mad at Seattle. Like I said, I don't root for any team. I just root for my picks to be right, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. But again, my analysis in this first game was officiating was horrible. The second game was, this was a defensive-led game. Good job by Sam Darnold. Good job by Seattle. And their running game, too. Kenneth Walker, amazing game. Zach Charbonnet, amazing game. Jack Smith and Jigma showed up. Juwan Jennings had some nice catches. Brock Purdy had some nice throws. Bad interception by him, which was Christian McCaffrey's fault if you give context to it. But all in all, it was an okay game. Nothing really to write home about. We all know how good Seattle's defense is going to be. Again, Buccaneers and Panthers, one of the worst officiated games I've seen since that Seattle and Steelers Super Bowl. This was just awful. An awful game, and I hope they get ripped apart Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way up until the next playoff games. These games, especially the first one, was awful with officiating, and the second game was awful because there was just no offense being displayed by San Francisco. Final scores of this game: Buccaneers 16, Panthers 14, Seattle 13, 49ers 3. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about these games. And if you're a Panthers fan, put in the comment section down below how you guys felt especially. And if you're a 49ers fan, let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt personally. Tampa Bay fans is welcome as well. And of course, Seattle, you guys clinched the number 1 seed. Congratulations. Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section down below. And if you're just an NFL fan and the way these games were called, the penalties in the first game, the lack of offense in the second game, let me know and voice your frustration, because throughout this entire video, it was just a depressed feeling because of how bad these games were. More so the first game, not really the second game, but more so the first game. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more great content that is coming up. Until next time, guys, see you real soon.